The Liberal government does not want the names of the MPs who are complicit with foreign governments in Canada to be named. Dean Baxendale is here to talk about that. Before then, please donate. Keep us on the air, because you aren't going to have this kind of debate on any other news station or show in Canada, because the government doesn't like it and they don't pay for it. I'm damn glad they don't pay for it. Dean Baxendale, president of Optimum Publishing, you have a number of books in your network from people who have documented foreign government interference in Canada. The Prime Minister, when talking about one of his MPs, said, well, all ethnic groups send busloads of people to vote for MPs. No one before has sent busloads of people paid for by the Communist Chinese Party. And our government's not doing anything about it, particularly in the north too. We have China and Russia in the Arctic. Are we just being led down the garden path?
We certainly seem to have been for the last number of years by this particular government, which I say, as my authors Sam Cooper and Scott McGregor have talked about before. We're talking about a high level of elite capture first, which is individuals, both corporate and political, as well as academia, who are being co-opted because either they're getting favors, getting opportunities, either now or later, and basically taking on their position. But we've evolved, and the Five Eyes intelligence community became extremely concerned out of the United States.
But for us in the Five Eyes.
Correct. Because we were no longer doing our job. We were actually looked as if there was complete state capture. And that we're talking about, where people within the Trudeau government were so heavily influenced that things that they were saying in public and things that they were doing in terms of legislation were to the benefit of the Chinese Communist Party, and not necessarily maybe beneficial to Canada, but certainly in line with what Beijing wanted to see happen. We can talk about the Uyghur genocide motion as a for instance, where Senator Yuan Pao came out very clearly in the Senate and postulated a whole theory, because we had our own supposed genocide with Indigenous people.
Which is absolutely a lie by the Prime Minister.
Well, that's a whole other subject to talk about. But these are the kinds of things that take place, and when there's state capture, elite capture, we ultimately are augmenting the political discourse and the direction of our democracy.
Without something like happened in the States with McCarthyism, looking under every pumpkin in the patch for spies, it does seem clear that we have a number of spies in the government, or our Canadian politicians are dealing with them. Not dealing with them, but they are allowing them to potentially be spies. What should happen? We need a thorough shakedown?
We absolutely need first of all, we need to put laws into place and rules and regulations for our parliamentarians that actually hold them to account. But we must have...
Why do we need rules? Parliamentarians should know.
They should.
If they're being paid by the Communist Party not to do it.
But it doesn't necessarily show up in actual cash all the time. It comes through political donations, it comes through favors, it comes later on after they leave politics that those payments may take place. But there are agents right now working on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party that are inside our government.
And that's shameful. More on that another day. Thanks very much, Dean. 3 minutes and a few seconds. This show provides independent analysis of the issues. We are not paid by the government. And as I am finding, so much business in Canada relies upon various governments that they don't want to sponsor or advertise on a show which may become controversial, which talks about liberty, freedoms, sometimes criticizes government. I've had guests on that support the government. But people are saying, you know what? We don't want to bite the hand that feeds us, i.e. government, which is why I hope you'll subscribe and contribute to keep this show on the air.